going to get right into it, so let's talk about it. All right, so we had a couple more questions from our guys here, and then I got one to wrap us up. I'm going to start with my brother Leroy.
I think you should start with your brother Dave Jeff.
Okay. My brother Dave Jeff.
So, Doc, okay. How do you feel about the different brands of it? And so I asked this, so I give a quick personal story. A very, 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 very prominent physician, I'm just going to say that, physician, or whatever, that I've known forever. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but he was saying, okay, about the Johnson & Johnson, not particularly the virus, but the Johnson & Johnson, like how the talcum powder or whatever caused cancer and whatever. And he broke it down like, okay, yeah, they didn't really know this, but they kind of got us on this one. Are we going to have a kind of got us on this one? You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that, so it's spooked me to where I don't even like Johnson & Johnson baby oil.
I don't think it's likely.
Okay.
Nothing is impossible. But what I'm trying to say, though, is of the options that we have, this is the right thing to do. And the reason why I say this is the right thing to do is because at the top of the pandemic, when we were in the hospital and our emergency rooms, our ICUs were completely full, it doesn't just affect people who have the virus, it affects our ability to treat any patient. So any patient that's coming in for a heart attack, any patient that's coming in for a stroke, any patient that's coming in for a real emergency becomes a lot harder because we don't have the resources to treat them the way that we typically do.
Gotcha.
Right? A lot of things are time dependent. If you have a stroke, you have to get an intervention within X amount of hours. Same thing with a heart attack. When the hospital system's overwhelmed, you don't have that opportunity. So we can talk about that discussion, what are the risks about it, but the risk to society and the risk to marginalized communities, the risk to people's ability to get the treatment is already compromised when we don't control the virus that's currently on site.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah,
tell me something.
That's good.
You got an honest face there. Tell me something. I feel you, man.
But I think that's good, and it honestly leads me to mine. Because what I heard you say was this is the best option for now, right?
Yeah.
And I found myself thinking about natural options. And with as much energy that we're putting into what the vaccine is, and I heard the family member in the back say something about either like what we eat or don't eat. The same way we were encouraged to put masks on, can we be encouraged to exercise, right? Like, eat certain foods, or does the whole nation stop eating certain foods? You know what I'm saying? Right, right. Because I'm mossed up. You hear me?
I think what you're talking about too, though, is just optimizing your situation, right? So it's just like, if I want to protect myself to the best ability, I'm going to eat correctly, I'm going to exercise correctly, and I'm going to get vaccinated. Because I don't just want to protect myself, I want to protect my mother, my grandmother, people in my community. I'm sure each and every single person can bring up 1, 2, 3 people that they lost. But just to go with numbers, we take vaccines all the time. And when you take your child to get a vaccine, the vaccines that women may take when they're pregnant. So it's not anything extremely novel. When you brought up mesothelioma, that's more of exposure to something that's kind of not man-made.
Oh, for real? Because I never knew what it was.
But I think that what's being noted is we aren't educated on medicine. Like we don't start asking these questions until something is right there in front of our face. Like there's never a campaign on educating people on what's out there until something happens. Now, granted, this is a pandemic that nobody was prepared for, but Bill Gates. But other than that, I feel like what the pandemic has done is showed us our inventory, like where we stand, and us being educated on certain things just wasn't happening before this time. So why do we trust the information at this point?
Because they told us the food pyramid was good for us.
Boom.
They said HIV before smoking was good for us.
I'm not saying that we don't get things wrong, but the science is your best bet to get things right.
And Doc, I trust science. I don't trust scientists. And I think, and that goes back to the ethics. That goes to the ethics.
And we talk about how do we solve a situation, how do we get ourselves in a better situation. Getting more black and brown people pursuing medicine research. But I'm also gonna, throw a lob to barbers, community organizers. They played a huge role in terms of getting people vaccinated. Mm-hmm. They played a pivotal role, more pivotal, arguably, when we even think about hospitals and deliver vaccines, because community leaders are the people that have developed a rapport with all our communities. They have been extremely pivotal in terms of trying to prepare people to get the appropriate information to make an informed decision. And what I've seen is once people get the information, they go get vaccinated.
And I want to hop in right there and wrap us up, because you mentioned a good point. You mentioned how barbers and everybody has a part to play in this. After this conversation, and this is for me included as well, what is the next step for you? And how do you continue to go forth after this conversation?
I've learned and understand, I wouldn't pressure nobody or judge anybody if you did or you did not get vaccinated or whatever, because it's all about what goes on in your thing. My thing was, I was moving my grandmother around, so it just needed it. Like in what I do, I travel, I'm around certain people, whatever, and I can't bring that to my house. So that's me. So this is why I stood on it. I was able to get it, and I got it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna be like, just like, hey, vaccine or die.
I get it.
Like that's not where I'm coming from. But I think it's just for the best decision of you. And I think that if we educate ourselves more, to his point, to Royce, what we just saying about it, and put the right energy into just building a better you, that's what I'm doing.
Got it.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm focused on.
How about you?
Like I said earlier, I feel like as a leader and as an operator in the barbershop, I feel like I have to lead by example. To me, at this point, even having conversations with like some of my close friends who have gotten vaccinated, I keep on hearing the conversation of living. So even if it's like, it could be in the health sense or just like how you see life going. Like for me, living is traveling, and I can't travel unless I'm protecting myself. So I feel a little bad because it kind of come off a little selfish, but my motivation is to live, and I feel like it's promoting life in a few different areas, health-wise and psyche-wise. Like for me to be open and have all things available to me, this seems like the way I need to go. But I also want to trust myself. So this has been an exercise in trusting my gut, my decision making, and making sure I'm educated. Like, so even playing host in this scene, this is me giving myself an opportunity to learn more, so I can prepare myself and the people who come in here and patronize my shop, that we can all make educated decisions together. So it's more like I get to walk hand in hand with my people. Like, and I feel confident in like just being honest about where I am. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we're the epicenter of the community, like the barbershop. So
the barbershop, yeah.
Like we trying to do much more than cut hair here, and if we have an opportunity to be on the right end of something, like we want to at least educate ourselves. So starting here feels good. When you get a lot of information, even when the information don't feel too comfortable, it should just make you research more. So the fact that I don't know, now I know I have to find out. Mm-hmm. This conversation is the start. I want to travel. There's other stuff outside Chicago that I want to be a part of. I want to be able to take my friends overseas with me. Like this, like travel is my life force. So to live, like to take a shot to live is I have to take a shot. I have to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? So it's not at all comfortable. A lot of things we have to do aren't comfortable.
Yeah.
And usually those are the things that kind of elevate us to another level that we're not familiar with anyway. So
exactly.
That's my thought process. But it's still a little trepidation.
I feel it.
Might wait.
Leroy, what's next for you, man?
It's hard to say. I think the more I learn, you know, the more I'll get closer to whatever the truth is. You know what I'm saying? I know my approach today, as I you know, want to contribute to the conversation with the brothers, was to more so learn and listen to what I would need to live effectively, but to also live informed. Right? The informed decision for me is the most important thing. And so listening to you was a great help. I still don't know. I still don't know exactly. I think time will equalize what we all know right now, right? And I'm really doing my best to buy as much time as possible with whatever information I can learn every day.
I definitely feel that. Like, it feel like you buying time for real.
No, for real.
I feel like it's like an intersection that's like, we come into an intersection for sure.
Yeah, and as I feel that approaching, you know, I want to be on the right side of history if I can be. So yeah, I'm gonna keep listening. I'm gonna keep learning, you know, and hopefully keep living.
Yeah, for sure.
And Dr. Walker, you're in?
I mean, you guys summed it up. You talked about living, and that's one of the things that I think has been one of the more effective things to talk about when we talk to different communities, because getting vaccinated, as well as just learning about what this has done to our community and how we make those next steps to get back to where we were, and then also how do we address a lot of those issues that put our communities in a very vulnerable situation, is motivation to try to get back to that point, and also think about what we need to do to work on, right? What are some of those issues that can help improve our situation so that we're not able to be so vulnerable again? And so what does that mean? That means talking to people, partnering with different organizations that can hear more messages about what the vaccine is, why we need to get vaccinated. I don't force anybody. I know it's a personal decision, but at the same time, I also like talking about what the current context is and what it means for us to move forward. And I think the vaccine is the best tool that we have, in addition to all the other things that we do, masking, distancing, particularly in environments where people may not be vaccinated. But it's really just to get back to those situations where we are able to congregate like this, able to play with our families, have those memories that we had prior in the past, where we're going out to Brew Fest and festivals of block parties and things like that. For some people, that will make people get vaccinated.
Yeah.
But
that alone.
but I think we also need to remember that getting vaccinated doesn't just help you; it helps everybody that lives nearby you.
For sure, for sure. I think that wraps us up. For my quick tidbit, I'm going to continue to connect with brothers like y'all and make sure we get the message out. Aside from that, I'm going to have a Shot Boy summer and go kick it.
Shot Boy summer.
But with that, thank the family for being here with us
Thank you,
today.
family.
I'd like to thank Leroyce Hawkins, Dave Jeff, Dr. Walker, and of course Simeon for letting us in this spot, holding us down. We also want to give a special thank you to the City of Chicago and the Chicago Department of Public Health for having us here today and for continuing to try to connect with our communities and push the importance of holding us down and making sure that we're okay and letting everybody know that our lives actually matter to our entire city as a whole.
Yeah.
For that, I'm Sean Grant. Thank you for checking out this conversation. Have a good night.
Happy day.